Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Monday, December 19th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can always find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Monday in college hoops. First up, it's Maine and Akron. This one's going to be 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. We see two teams that have the same record, 6-4 for both of these clubs, but I do think that Akron is the far better team in this one, and I like Akron laying the points in this game. When you look at Maine, they've really benefited from making a lot of tough, low percentage shots this season. Maine is ranked 88th in the country in effective field goal percentage, 59th in the nation in two-point field goal percentage, but this was still a Maine offense that right now is ranked 291st in adjusted offensive efficiency, and last year was ranked 342nd in adjusted offensive efficiency, 302 in effective field goal percentage. Not a very good shooting team at all. Now, obviously, this year's team is a little bit different than last year's team, but still, I don't think this is a very good Maine offense, and the Maine defense has also not been great this season, ranked 280th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. So Akron, I think, has a big advantage there. When you look at Maine, you look at some of the teams that they've beat this season, a couple of subdivision teams. They took down some weaker teams in Merrimack, Central Connecticut, and Columbia, but not really a tough schedule for Maine this season. When they played on the road, they haven't fared too well, especially when they have to step it up in competition. Games like against Fordham and Nebraska, some tough teams in Ken Palm, top 170 teams in the country. You're seeing one here in Akron who's ranked 128th. I think they're the much better team on both sides of the basketball. They're on a 3-game win streak. They're playing pretty good ball as of late, coming off a double-digit win over a solid Wright State team. So I'm going to take Akron here, and I'm going to lay the points. Next up, it's Chicago State and Illinois State. This one's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. You know, I'm fading both of these defenses in this matchup. Chicago State ranked 355th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. Illinois State ranked 281st, so a little bit better, but I actually think there's a lot of room for regression for this Illinois State defense that right now its opponents aren't really shooting too well against. But you know, Chicago State, not a bad shooting team, honestly. When you look at the numbers on paper, 244th in effective field goal percentage, but as of late, Chicago State's actually been making a good amount of their shots, at least from the perimeter. You look in their last game, 9 of 24 from 3, 37.5% for Chicago State. These are both teams that do like to slow things down on offense and defense, so the pace of play won't be very fast, but because of how bad these defenses are, I do think we're going to see a good amount of scoring. I also like the fact that Chicago State's a good offensive rebounding team. So is Illinois State. So both teams, even if they're not cashing in on their long-distance shots, those perimeter shots, if they're able to get those second-chance looks, they'll be able to score pretty easily against both pretty bad two-point defenses down low. Chicago State ranked 218th in two-point defense so far this season and 340th in defensive rebounding. So, I think both teams are going to get a lot of second-chance opportunities, a good amount of looks from 3 as well, and Chicago State starting to heat up a little bit from the perimeter. So give me the over in the Chicago State-Illinois State game. Next up, it's Hofstra and South Florida. This one's going to be 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. When you look at these two teams, kind of two teams in different directions right now. Hofstra does have the better record overall at 6-5 compared to South Florida at 5-6, but Hofstra in their last 3 games, all losers. And, their last 7 games, they've lost 5 of those 7. So Hofstra not in great form, but you look on the other side, South Florida, they've won 3 straight games. They've won 5 of their last 6, and they're in much better form right now compared to Hofstra. So, right off the bat, I am leaning towards South Florida, but when you look at the numbers, I think it benefits the Bulls even more. South Florida, good defensive team. This is not a very good offense. We know that, but the defense is one of the best in the American Conference this season, in my opinion. They force a lot of turnovers, pretty good in the defensive glass. They force you to take some tough shots, and, this is a Hofstra team that has a pretty good offense, but as of late, not the strongest results. Not a good rebounding team at all, both on the offensive and defensive side of things, which is worrisome because South Florida, like I said, pretty good on the glass, but even better on the offensive side of things, rebounding-wise, ranked 117th in the country. So I expect, even though the South Florida Bulls not a very good shooting team, they're going to be able to get those second-chance opportunities. They also take care of the basketball pretty well. Not a lot of turnovers from South Florida, so I think the offense will be just fine in this game. I think the defense is also going to hold up pretty well, and this Hofstra defense, not good. Like I said, not good on the defensive glass, but they don't force many turnovers. They're not a good perimeter defense, ranked 258th in three-point defense. So with how bad they played lately and how well South Florida has looked as of late, I'm going to take the Bulls here, and I'm going to take them on the money line. Next up, we got a conference game in the Summit League. It's going to be Nebraska-Omaha hosting Denver. Now, Denver, this is a team that's 9-3 to start the season, but they haven't really taken on the toughest of non-conference schedules. In fact, their most impressive win this season, you could say, was a neutral site game over the Citadel. That's the 277th ranked team in KenPom, or you could say the home victory over Texas A&M Commerce, who's ranked 270th. So really, no top 250 wins. And I know Nebraska Omaha is ranked 309 in KenPom right now, but still, a team that hasn't really been tested much. And when they played on the road, at least as of late, they have struggled. They lost by 23 points to UCLA, and they lost in overtime to Sacramento State in their last two true road games. This is a Denver team that's shooting. They're ranked 8th right now in the country in effective field goal percentage. I don't think those numbers are going to hold up, so I expect a lot of regression from this Denver offense. And the Denver defense is not very good at all, ranked 310th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. So Nebraska Omaha has the edge there. Nebraska Omaha not shooting the ball very well themselves, but when you look at their free throw percentage as a team, you look at their three-point percentage, ranked 29.3%. That's ranked 317th in the country. But their free throw percentage is 77.8%. That's 21st in the nation. If they're shooting that well from the free throw line, you would expect some of their shots from 3-point and 2-point range to start falling at a better rate as well. And I do expect that, especially when we get to conference play like we're at right now. So I think Denver's defense is in trouble in this matchup. I like the fact that Nebraska Omaha is at home. They're also coming off a win over a subdivision team. I'm going to take Nebraska Omaha. I think they pull off the victory. And the final game we're going to talk about for Monday's card in college basketball, it's going to be between Kansas City and South Dakota. I want to say thank you for bearing with me with my voice. A little bit under the weather today, so my voice is a little off, but we get through it anyway. We're going to talk some Summit League basketball again right here. South Dakota is 5-7 on the season compared to Kansas City 4-9. But I do think Kansas City has been one of the unluckier teams, and just in terms of their shooting percentages this season. They're ranked 359th in the country in effective field goal percentage, 362nd in the nation in three-point percentage. You look at last year's numbers, this was a very, very good shooting team. They were 74th in the nation in effective field goal percentage, 68th in three-point percentage. And while there's a lot of production lost from last year's roster, I still think this offense is a lot better than what we've seen. And you look at the fact that Kansas City's getting to the free throw line quite a bit. They're also a very good offensive rebounding team. The defense has been solid. I think they have a fighting chance in this matchup, especially when you look at South Dakota's defense, ranked 332nd in the nation in adjusted defensive efficiency. Bad defenses away from home in conference games, usually where I stay away from, especially around this time of year. So, South Dakota's on 3 straight losses to Air Force, UC Irvine, and Coastal Carolina. Their defense has struggled really badly in those games, giving up 79 points to Air Force, which is a very, very slow-paced team. Very tough to give up that many points. UC Irvine, 83 points, and Coastal Carolina, 87. I think Kansas City gets in the mid-70s in this game. I think it's enough for a win. So give me Kansas City in this one to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bet, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.